Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. Presented by Carolina Lightweight. Come get with us. When the action begins in the studio, our referees for tonight's event are Elgato Azul and Carolina Real Streamers. For the viewers in attendance and Facebook and YouTube users around the world, this is the moment you've all been waiting for. Live from the Elgato Azul TV studio in Louisville, Texas, it's time! What's up, slime lovers? I'm your host, Chris, a.k.a. Elgato Azul, my partner in slime, Mr. Jamie Dunn. We're back.
We're back, man.
Man, we're going to be rusty.
Who you telling? I'm like, man, I didn't do no notes. I didn't do nothing.
We made it. Do you ever do notes?
Never. I like it. We wing it, man. We just wing it. We go off of our knowledge and stuff, and that's the way I like doing things.
That's how we're going to do it. That's how we're going to keep doing it. So,
that's right.
We may screw it up, but
everything's been good so far. So
it is.
Man, I tell you, it does feel good to be back, man. I've missed everybody out there, and I know you do too, man. It just feels good to be back.
Yeah, you ain't kidding, man. I've had a lot of guys saying, "When's it coming back?" Last week, I forgot to say we're not coming back this week because my son's basketball practice, they'd moved it to Wednesday nights for the last 2 weeks of the season, but we're done with that.
Oh, so heck yeah.
On to football.
Man. Looks like we got a lot of people starting to come in, man.
Let's get it going, man. Usually we have a big fall off when we've been off a week or two. So
yeah.
We're going to talk spring transition. We'll try to answer as many questions as we can. Already had some guys asking questions on Facebook. So Rich says from Operation Vets with Net says, "What's up? What's up, Richie boy?" Richard Gadget Green, Mr. Gadget says, "Hello from Lake Livingston, Texas. Welcome in, buddy." That's me. The Realist Fishing from South Texas says, "What's up, slime family? Welcome in, buddy."
What's up, buddy?
Draco Lake World says, "What's up, slime family? Welcome in, buddy." Eagle Eyes Juan Tienda says, "What's up, slime family? Welcome in, Juan." Drifty says, "What's up, fellas?" Well, we made it. Jamie just made it by the skin of his chin.
I tell you, man.
Jeff Martin says jug line season.
Oh. No, what's
to the inlet?
What season it is sharpen your knife season. And you know where we can.
I'm getting good at this. I've been practicing.
You know where we can get a sharp one at, man. That's for sure.
Oh man, I dropped. I like to drop those social media tear gas canisters a couple times a year on my Facebook page. Made that yearly post of springtime's here.
That's it.
The pocket knife coming to a jug line near you.
Oh man,
that pissed some guys off, man.
Damn, we're
every year though. I do it to get them to clear them out of there. I don't want them on my page, so I don't agree with jug lines. I don't mind standing up for it. Several of them were like, "I can't believe these companies support you, and you're representing these." What's this?
Oh man, what's up, buddy?
What do we have here?
this anti-cyborg.
You're the anti-cyborg. And what are you here to do?
Hunt cyborgs.
Okay. The you're the cyborg jug killer. Don't watch out. Be careful with that. Let me have that. Danger, danger. Tornado with a knife. All right, buddy.
Oh, Lord.
Oh man.
And
Now,
I won't.
says what's going on, Slime Fam? Chris, not sure if it's just me, but I can barely hear you.
I got you, brother, on my end. You're good and loud on my end.
Anybody else? Give me a. Let me know if my sound's bad. I can back out and come back. Kurt River Trail says, "Good evening, fellas. Listening while tying up rigs in the garage. Man, get harder and harder. 51 tie rigs. Can't hardly see. Getting blind. My wife tells me I might just have to break down and get them, man. I noticed last trip I had missed the eye on a rod.
Yeah. I tell you, brother, I love mine. I break them a lot, but I love them. I really do.
Ryan Smith says, Jeff, I'm ready. We're going to put out 50 this weekend. I want to cut 50. Oh, man. Jack Skull says, sup, everyone. Welcome in, buddy. Trent Hall says, good to see you back, Jamie. Thought I might have to take your place. You know,
hey,
I had S on, and I went back and watched that. We had fun. I went back and watched that show. I had sound issues, and I was freezing about half the show. I went back and saw the show. I'm like, damn, I was just talking over these guys. It never froze up on the stream, but my stuff was frozen up. I'm just talking right over the top of everybody. I'm like, damn, man, I look like an a-hole. Whoops.
Oh man.
That was the Greg Blue and Best Cooks helped me host that night. So apologize. I had sound issues.
I appreciate him stepping in, that's for sure. And I won't.
What's up, everyone? Looking forward to the show.
Good deal. And I won't apologize real fast, y'all. If y'all see me working, we got some pretty big orders. So I'm working and doing the show at the same time. I got about 115 rigs that's got to go out tomorrow. So it never stops.
Draco says, question for Jamie. Have you ever used the river herring the bait shops around Santee have here? Is it good blue cat bait?
It is. I have used it. It does work real well. So it comes highly recommended.
There's Mike Green whale. He caught him a whale. Welcome in. That's my Elite 13 teammate. Welcome in, Mikey. JT Tuberville, one of my fishing buddies. He just got him a new Skeeter Bay boat. He's ready to hit the big water.
Oh, man.
He's up in his big fish game so he can fish Lake Texoma. Congrats on your new Skeeter Bay boat. You're going to love that thing. Those are nice. That ought to be able to handle most anything on that lake can throw at you. Joe Jordan says, hello, Slime Fam. Welcome in, Joe. Freedom Express Guide Service says, good evening, Slime Family. Good to see y'all again. It's good to be back. Appreciate everybody coming in. Catfishing School 1 says, what's up, guys, besides the temps? Man, we got crazy temps. We got rain supposed to be hitting right now. Supposed to rain. We got rain in the forecast for 7 days. So,
oh wow! I tell you,
it could be good if we can get a break in the storms.
I tell you, man, I fished my first tournament of the year just the other day, and it was pouring down rain. The cool weather started coming in. The wind was blowing.
Well,
Luckily,
fishing.
The fishing for me, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I caught a lot of fish. I just couldn't catch the big ones. I missed third place by less than a half a pound. I fished it by myself, and I caught plenty of fish, man, but just nothing that could get out of a certain
Didn't
size
get the
range.
right one.
Nope, I marked a lot of good fish, set up on them. Just couldn't get the big one I needed.
That was us last weekend, man.
Yep.
We struggled. I let Jackson pick our spot, and it was tough. Fish didn't want to play. Where he picked a good spot, there was fish there. We hung a 30 out of his hole, and then we lost a bunch of crap. We were anchored in timber, so I still had all my stinger rigs tied up. Stinger rigs and timber, I don't recommend.
No. you, you know, Chris. We I fished a lot of timber, man, during that tournament, and I was very shocked at how many fish. Well, I wasn't shocked. Uh, in each spot, man, it was nothing to catch 8 or 9 out of each spot. That's how
Wow.
many they were stacked on top of each other, and it was crazy that they were all pretty much the same size.
Yeah,
It really was.
same pattern all over.
Same pattern. Every spot I went to, it was the exact same way.
What's the water temp there?
The water temp, Chris, was 69.
Dang,
Yeah, yeah,
man, they're getting ready to spawn.
yeah. Because it where I was, because it was a certain area, it had some feed into it, and it was a little bit warmer than the main part. Now the main part was a little bit cooler,
Yeah,
but where I was trying to fish, it was a little bit warmer, and they were just stacked. But like I said, they were all 10 to 15 to 20 pound range.
2 weeks
Nothing.
ago we fished a cold front, spring transition, but front on the 3 days into the cold front, fish were in 26 feet. We fished the week before in 8 feet. This week we went back. We looked a lot to find fish. I went way shallow. I ended up having to go way up a creek arm, and I found them piled up in 12 feet, all just thick in the timber. We were hooking them. They were getting us, man, taking us into the sticks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I had stinger rigs on, and I lost, I think, 5 rigs real quick. Caught
Wow.
2 fish and said, "Let's go." I'm not going to sit here and tie rigs all.
Man, and what was crazy though, started out with that water temp like that, but as that cool front come in, man, the water really, then the rain, it really did start going back down, and the bite actually got a little bit tougher.
Yeah,
And it was weird how the water temp, a lot of people don't understand.
fish
It
do.
means
When
that
that water temp started going down, what'd the fish do?
the fish started slowing down.
Did
The
they
fish
move?
starts actually no, they did not move a whole lot for me. There were some guys that said they had problems finding the fish, but I figured out a pattern that was basically I was sitting right on top of the bank. I mean, right on top of the bank,
You were
and
right on the bank. And where were
yeah,
you
I was.
casting to?
Huh?
Where were you casting?
I was casting to the timber. I
Yeah,
basically, it wasn't casting; it was almost dropping straight down onto the timber, and that's where I found a lot of my fish. Was I mean, right on the bank, straight down on the timber. And a lot of the guys I talked to that was trying to fish out more said the fishing wasn't as good. So I held that information until the end of the tournament, and now kind of a lot of people knows now. But
yeah. I noticed our big fish were pairing up, so they're getting ready to go do their thing.
yeah,
Our water was 63, but I didn't go super shallow. I was in 12 and a half feet. So I imagine it was 66, 67 up really shallow.
yeah, yeah. And then when you find some areas that has some feed coming in, that's where
We've had zero rain. So,
wow,
like, guys are, oh, how shallow? I'm like, well, I mean, depends on your fishery. The lake that I was fishing has 8,000 acres of timber that's shallow. So really, you need flow to concentrate them towards the creek to the where the flow's coming in. We haven't had that, so I focused on little pockets of timber and just found I just found the carp, and there's fish, big fish with them. So that's what we fished. It was we caught fish, just not what we were. Wasn't great. I think if we could have landed on the fish early, we could have probably done better. But it took me 3 hours to find them.
Man, I'm gonna tell you, Chris.
And we only could fish till noon, so I had 2 hours of fishing.
Heck yeah, it was so foggy, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. My first spot, Chris, you couldn't see nothing with the lights on, with the lights off. I mean,
Oh yeah,
I basically crisscrossed the river, covering the bank, trying to, and it was just very dangerous. And luckily, I caught my biggest ones within the first two spots, and it was
that
close to
takes
the
the
hill.
pressure off at least.
Oh yeah, I was calling all day, but man, just couldn't get the big ones.
Nathan Lorick says, "What's up, guys? Welcome in, Nathan. He just got him a new boat. All these guys just making it rain at the boat shop." Wendell Vaughn, one of my Texas boys. Welcome in, Wendell. Chris Wheeler says, "Look at that little terrorist." Kendall West says, "I'm going to be honest. I used my electric fillet knife on the boat." Hey, whatever it takes, buddy. I know a lot of guys that break out the fillet knife. Getting too much 3D printed single finger salute to put on the jug lines and set them all over the Red River Inlet. Oh man, it'll be a month before they come check them.
It will.
All right. Draco says we both sound good. Stephen Love Jr. says we can hear you on Facebook. All right, I guess I'm behind. Imagine that. Loud and clear. Rich is planning the Hooked on Heroes 2026 tournament.
Yep, I've already seen somewhere he had it on Facebook, and they're already on top of it.
Ted Hobson says, "Glad to have the show back." Ted's about to turn 50. Got him a new boat.
Oh man,
Man,
that springtime fever, boy.
good for the Slime family right now. Texas Cowboy says, "What's up, brothers? Green Whale, Elite 13, big arm flex. Let me run through here and get us caught up." Randy Bain, Camo Catfish into his house. Texas Cowboy, 20-pound club decal. Congrats, buddy. I'm trying to up my game, up my decal this next month. I'm gonna be hitting Texoma hard. I've got my knife sharpened up for all them juggers. Killer B caught him a 60-pounder out of, let's see, I don't remember where he was. I can't remember, but he got him a new PB. Congrats, Billy Boy. And he's got a new boat on the way. He's got one of those Pangas, he's an ocean guy.
Oh man.
Oh. All right. Joe Jordan, bite was tough at the Ice Bowl. Only had 3 short bites and no hookups. That's the way it goes sometimes, Joe. Mike says they're still in the 40s there for water.
Oh, wow.
Man, that's hammer time, buddy. I love 40s. We just didn't have I think our warmest winter on record here. It's crazy hot winter. It
Some of
really
it,
had the fish moving constantly. It was weird. I only fished the same area. I fished multiple lakes, but I only fished the same area 3 times. And when I move, it was 10 miles. I would be 10 miles from where I was the week before.
wow.
Guys don't realize. I was talking to JBN today. I said, guys don't realize what you got to what you got to put in on the graph to be able to stay on fish every week. It's crazy. There is no. I'm gonna go off what happened last year anymore. Everything is different. Every week is different, and a weekend guy just got to go out there and just go figure it out on the fly. Uh,
That's it. We've talked about several times, man, that all the notes and stuff we used to keep in our mind or on a book or and stuff, you can throw them out the window sometimes because everything's changing so much now.
a lot
I
of
mean,
guys here really struggled this year. They're like,
yep,
man, the fishing was my worst. They're like, I caught my best fish because of the slime show, but the fishing has just been crazy. We had so many fronts this year. I don't ever recall having this many fronts in a season. It was like every 3 or 4 days, another front, and then 4 more days, another. So it was just barometric pressure, north wind, south wind, north wind, south wind. It was never had anything steady the whole time.
yep.
Jerry Parker got him a 106 or 107, 107, I think.
Congratulations, buddy.
He had a hard time picking that sucker up. That was a hell of a fish.
Oh man.
Jerry says the water was mid 40s there this past weekend. That's for us, mid 40s is about as good as it gets for blue catting. And I think big bait is lethargic at 45, but big blue cats are still active. So they can feed really heavy and hard. They can feed all day long. They like to eat. They're eating a lot and for long periods of time. So it allows you to have a much longer bite window for big fish.
Chris, I was wanting to ask you a question, man. Have y'all had a lot of people starting to hit up on some gar down there?
My buddy Chris Moody, he's like one of the world famous guides for him. He's already gone a couple times. I didn't see his catches, but I know he's already been, and I have seen some other guys catching them. So,
And the reason why I ask because I know our gar rigs, man, have been just rolling out going to that area.
probably guys are getting ready because last year you ran out of them.
Yep, yep.
So it's almost go time. You could probably go catch them now, but most of us trophy cat fishermen, we target them when the big fish go on the beds. Once the fish go on the nest, then a lot of guys switch to alligator gar.
Yeah.
And, once they come off the nests, it's a nocturnal game here because our water temp gets so hot. The big fish don't bite in the daytime much. So a lot of guys don't switch back. They just keep gator gar fishing, which is kind of what I've been doing the last 3 years.
Well, I tell you what, they must be cranking up because, boy, we've had order after order for them.
I think more guys are, once you catch a giant, you're addicted and you just, there's something just cool about catching a 7-foot fish, They're crazy fun to catch.
Let's see.
Greenwell says, crazy how different things are. His came from 45 feet of water this past weekend.
Oh, wow.
I would say, Mike, when our water temps are that, I know you're in a river and I'm in a reservoir, but I'm typically in 45 feet when the water temp's 45. That's about the depth I'm in.
And what's so weird, Chris, is he's saying that. And I checked during our tournament just, a couple weeks ago, the deep water, but I found all of mine up on the bank. And that's.
Was that post polar front?
It was deering. It was basically we were having the
Well,
front.
let me say this: after our polar front, that's when we have our really epic trips.
Yep.
That's when I say biomass, that's when the biomass is like 20 feet thick. You don't even know what you're looking at. You don't even have to know what you're looking at. The fish are so concentrated and thick in one area. I mean, it's not just a small area either, it's miles. But we never saw that this year. After that huge polar front, no biomass. Never seen that before.
Wow.
Never once saw a gizzard shad grouped up. I've been fishing for catfish my whole life. I have never not seen gizzard shad usually group up when the water hits the 50s. They did not do that this year. So it was just weird. I fished a lot of carp patterns this year, probably more than ever. I'm glad I've kind of honed in on that pattern because it's a great pattern for giant fish. It's a good pattern. You won't catch as many, but the ones you catch around them are usually pretty good.
And it's amazing, Chris, how fast you're having to adapt to some of these new patterns too. I mean,
I tell guys, if you really want to if you want to continue to learn, okay, there's a certain point where you get pretty damn good, and a lot of guys' learning curve starts going down. But if you keep an open mind, because there's always more to learn. I don't give a crap how good you are. If you keep an open mind and for learning, then you can keep learning.
That's it.
I think the last probably 2 years, I've learned more in the last 2 years than I learned in the last 10.
Wow.
And, you just got to learn on the fly. My buddies are like, oh, yeah, you just go fish the same area. I'm like, dude, that's not how I fish. I didn't fish this. I fished the same area 3 freaking times in the last 5 months, 3 times. It's not how it works I mean, you can go do that and maybe catch a fish or two.
Yeah.
You're not going to stay on. I mean, you got to go find them.
And you know what was so weird, Chris? We're talking about the bite there. Is I could pull up in a spot, catch my fish within the first 20 minutes. After that, it was done. It was done. You had to move. So basically, every 20 minutes you were moving because it was like it just come to a complete stop, and that was it, the bite was very strange. It really was. Guys, if I've lost my Facebook side, so I apologize. I'm trying to get us back up.
Hopefully I still got it. I still see Facebook come across, but I am way behind.
All right. I'm just trying to catch up, or I'm trying to find it.
Clearwater was 45 at the Ice Bowl. All right. I know that, every lake's different. Some of these lakes have warm water feeding them. That makes a difference. Big fish will go up in that warm water, get up in those creeks. I will say this: there's typically not one pattern. So, and I do know from my buddies that fished up there, Joe, that it's a monkey see, monkey do deal. So, a couple guys do something, and everybody else thinks they got to do it. I would like to go fish that lake just without any intel, just the way I like to go find fish, just to see what I could do on it. I was talking to some guys today about how, if you go to a new lake, and it's not your lake. Just you show up with no pre-fishing and no intel. How long does it take you to go find big fish? How long would it take? Jamie, how long would it take you if you just show up to a lake? You're not normally fishing, and you just got to show up. You haven't talked to any of your guide buddies or friends, and you just got to go catch fish. How long would it take you to get?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Depending on which lake, you're looking at least a half a day. I mean, at least a good half a day to try to find some good fish. I mean, you're gonna cover a lot of water. I mean, that's just like saying, going to a new lake, getting ready for a tournament. Chris, I've seen it 2 days. I've looked on a lake trying to find where the big fish are for 2 days.
That's painful right there, buddy.
It is. It is. But if it's something, if I'm in a time crunch and I can't find the big ones that I'm having to sell for certain size, I mean, by 12 o'clock I can find something to be able to put in the boat. But
Yeah.
if I've got the time. Sometimes, like I said, 2 days. I mean, that's just being truthful.
I told my buddies, I can build my pattern in 15 minutes, but it takes me about it would probably take me anywhere from 1 to 3 hours to find big fish. Once I build I can build the pattern almost instantly when I get on the water. My buddies, guide buddies, will take me and they're like, "All right, I just want to hear, you know, what you think." And we'll get on the water. I'll tell them, "All right, well, this is the depth they're going to be in. Now we just got to go find the fish
It,
in that
it,
depth."
it, and a lot of that depends, Chris, is knowing which lake you're going to. You know, like some of the lakes I fished, man, you knew there was only going to be certain size because that's what was basically being caught. And you're trying to spend that extra time at
Yeah,
trying to
yeah, you're
find.
trying to be more,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
But
selective.
you, yeah. And like I
So if
said,
I'm trying to do that, I will typically grind my ass off and find 3 groups of fish.
yeah,
And I will stop and fish them if they have 50 pounders in the group. If they don't, I keep moving. And occasionally I never find them and just go back and fish the best group.
yeah.
But I typically won't scrap more than about 3 hours. I feel like 3 hours, I found 3, 4 good groups of fish. Uh, it's time to fish them. I pick the best group, which I think has the biggest fish in it, and I just roll the dice because you can there still can be a fish or two in that group that you didn't never saw. You're like,
Yeah.
man, all right, there was a big one with this group. I just didn't see it.
That's it. That's it. And when I say that too, Chris, is you're comparing to you're going out there for a Saturday style fishing.
Yeah, I gotta get it.
It,
I got
that's it.
like a guide. It's kind of like a guide trip. You got to
Yeah,
get out there.
yeah.
You can't burn up the whole day. Like I screwed around and burned. We had a short trip last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I had 5 hours to fish. I burned up 3 of it graphing, and we had 2 hours. So I burned up the majority of our fishing time looking.
Yeah,
And you really can't do that and have a really good day on a short fishing day. You
that's
have
it.
to land on the fish and immediately start catching them if you got a short day like that.
Yeah.
I didn't do that. I zigged, I zagged.
and that's just like me prepping for a tournament. That's me prepping sometimes 2 days for a tournament. It's taking that time because it's like, okay, this is a big money tournament. I really
Yeah.
want to search this place. I want to put all my plans together and know that these spots and mark them and just have that time and those extra days to do that. I mean, I won't even put a pole in the water sometimes,
Yeah.
just pre-looking, and it yeah.
Gadget Green says he caught 4 gar last week, 20 to 60 pounds, 6 foot of water.
Oh wow, heck yeah.
James Rodriguez says fish were in a big cove area on side you fish anchored. Yeah, I mean that's where I fit. I mean, hell, I was there. I saw them. I got a bunch of shit hung up. Trust me, I know. I scanned that whole area. They were thick with that stand of timber that I was in, James. It was freaking loaded with fish. It's just when you hang into a really good one, they like to take you into the trees. That's what they did to us about 6 times, and we tried to drag the edge of it. We caught a couple fish, but we just after I lost a bunch of crap, we left. Yep, Gadget says January 26th. He had cancer surgery doctors saying he's 100% cancer free now. Congrats, buddy.
Man, that's awesome, brother. That's awesome.
8 to 12 weeks to be 100% if he stops doing stupid shit. Yeah, he's fishing.
Chris, I'm gonna have to let you cover Facebook tonight. I can cover the help
All right,
the
let me get.
YouTube.
Let me
I
get.
I don't know what's happened to my
Jeremy
Facebook.
Yankovic says, "Good evening, welcome in, buddy." The Master Outdoors says, "I'm late, but evening friends, welcome in." Tommy Anderson, "What's up, Slime family?"
What's
Ray
up, buddy?
Gutierrez says, "What's up, Slime fam? Welcome in, Ray." Thomas Herman says, "Chris, what do you look at to determine what depth they will be in?" We look for the magic depth. So it's typically in a reservoir. You will have usually multiple patterns, but there's typically a prevailing pattern of the day where everything's going to be relating to a certain depth. Last week it was 2 weeks ago it was 26 feet. Last week was 12 and a half feet. In that depth range, you will have about 3 to 5 feet is the sweet spot. So you can move around like 12 and a half feet was the sweet spot. We moved around the lake in 12 and a half feet and looking. Now they're not going to be everywhere in 12 and a half feet, but that was the sweet spot. So when we would get into an area with fish, you'd find, that was the sweet spot. That's the very first thing that I look for on the lake. Doesn't matter if I know the lake or if I don't know the lake. The very first thing I'm doing as soon as I come off the first ledge is I'm looking what depth on that ledge is the bait relating to. There's bait everywhere in a lake. It's on every ledge. It's on every point. At what depth on that point is it? At what depth on that ledge is it? Once you mark it at that depth, you can move around the lake, and it might vary a little bit in different arms depending on temperature, but it's not going to vary greatly. And you can move around the lake in that depth, and that's how I break down a lake. I find the magic depth, and then I think, all right, the magic depth, I calculate that with the seasonal migrational pattern. So what section of the lake do the fish like to relate to this time of year? Well, this time of year it's spring. They're going to be moving into getting close to spawning habitat. So they're going to stay around transition areas where they can, on a warm up, they can run up shallow. On a cold front, they can run back out to mid depth. And then, if it's cold in the morning, they may be out deep. And as the sun comes out, they'll move back up. Mud flats, timber areas, creek inlets. Those are the types of areas I'm looking for. So once I find the magic depth, then I know their seasonal migrational habits, and I calculate that in. All right, they're in 12 and a half feet. They're probably going to be in the top third of the lake in these, creek, maybe not in the creek, but in the transition area. So it could be in 20 feet, could be in 2 feet. It's going to be in that section. And that's when we talk about the spring transition, that's where they're going to be. They're going to be able to move up and down to get to those little sweet spots, and they're going to be close. Bait likes to get up there. We talk a lot about what fish like. They want to be comfortable. They want to eat, and they want to spawn. Well, this time of year, all three of those things are in play. So they're starting to get close to their spawning habitat. And you're going to start noticing big fish pair up, and you'll see two fish together. Well, those fish are going to pretty much stay together for the next few weeks, swimming around, checking out stuff, feeding together. And you'll see a lot of that. And they'll stay around somewhere close to where they're going to be spawning, also where there's a lot of bait. And those three things will intersect. So that's what I'm looking for in the spring transition. And the depth is going to be dependent usually on the weather for the day. So warm up, they're going to move up shallow. It gets cold, these little cold bursts that we get. Nothing major, but colder than the water temp, they move back out. So
Chris, y'all getting
about now, you won't be much deeper at 15 feet ever.
y'all getting temperatures already what up into the upper
85.
70s and
We had an
80s.
89-degree day a couple
Wow.
days ago.
Wow. So that's really starting to throw y'all's just for a loop already.
Yeah. The other thing is it's water coming into the lake. So that when they go shallow, if there's no rain coming in, they scatter. They're along every shoreline. I mean, all the shorelines. They might all be in the top third of the lake, but they're scattered. That's a lot of water to cover. It's hard to really hone in on them like that. So, guys, like, how do you pick in this sea of timber? I look for little isolated pockets, something that's different. If you got an ocean of timber out here, and then there's a clearing, and then over here there's a little pocket of timber, and it's in 12.5 feet. You're going to see that thing that's a little bit different usually is something that there's something different about it. Fish like that. So when you're in that ocean of everything being the same, look for something different. And it might be underwater. It might be just that little grove of timber. So that's the way I break down spring fishing. Tommy says, I saw y'all Saturday afternoon. Ray says the spring transition is killing me. Do I drag or hit the timber shallow? That, here's the thing, Ray. You can do either. If you go shallow, if you drag, get on a mud flat. Find a mud flat on the north end of the lake with some wind blowing across it, preferably on a warm-up day with the sunshine out. If the sun shines out, those mud flats can be really good. We fished the mud flats 3 trips ago and just mutilated them. That's where Jackson wanted to fish. I've been letting him pick, so he's been doing pretty good till last weekend. I said, well, did you learn anything? He said, yeah, let Dad pick.
But Chris, as he's picking, I know you're probably explaining to him and asking him, why are you picking these areas and stuff? I mean, man, you're teaching him.
To explain to him, like when we fish together, we talk a lot about fishing. When we have guests, the guests do all the talking, and he's not into all that. But when we're together, he does, and it's surprising. Kids pick that up, even though you might not think. He's a hyperactive, ADHD kid, but he's super intelligent. He has picked it up. I'm surprised that he's absorbed it. He does listen, even though sometimes you feel like he's not listening to a damn thing I'm telling him. But I'll ask him, all right, so, where do you want to fish today? And I said, we fished in 26 feet last week. Where do you want to fish today? He's like, I want to go shallow. I'm like, why? He's like, well, it was cold last week, but this week it's been warm all week. I'm like, hey, you're onto something. So I think it's cool. He's starting to pick some things up. He's starting to read the graph a little bit.
That's awesome.
I'll let him. We'll stop in an area, and I'm like, all right, you'd let me know if this is good. If you want us to fish here. So he's always kind of looked over my shoulder when we're graphing, and he won't say much, but I'll say something. Oh, there's a good one. So even though they absorb that, he absorbs that.
Yeah.
So at some point, I expect him to be really into it more. He's still 10. And
man, there's so much learning. You know what we were learning when we were that age. I mean, it's still here we are. Look at where we are today, man. And every trip,
spinner baits, dude. At the pond or whatever. It's a different ball game. What he's learning, it's high level type stuff. He'll be 10 times the angler I ever was. I can guarantee you that. He's going to be. He's been chunking his cast net since he was 4. He can read a graph. You know, when we fish together, he's really into it. He's a good net man. When we have guests on the boat, he lets them catch all the fish. So he's got that part down. You know, I think that's cool.
Yeah.
He's
That's
not trying to go over there and grab a rod. He's trying to, let them get their memory in. So
that's awesome. That really is.
rain's coming to Central Texas, says Ray. Chris, do you still throw giant baits during the spring or do you downsize baits? Matthew, if I'm dragging, I'm staying giant. All my biggest fish ever caught have come pre-spawn, dragging giant baits. If I'm anchoring, I go smaller. If I'm anchoring, I go smaller. But right now, if I can drag, I'm dragging. You need a clearing. You know, it can be stumps, but stumps and stinger rigs aren't great combination. But I like to hit mud flats. And that's where I'm going to be this month. I'm going to go to some lakes I can go drag mud flats for giant fish. I expect to catch a monster this month. Hopefully more than one. If I'm anchoring, I'll downsize, Matthew. Thomas Herman says, here we still got water temps in the 40s on the rivers. Fish are still holding deep in the 40, 50-foot range.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a little different up there. Y'all will have a big warm up soon. And it's, things rapidly change. When the water begins to warm, it's not a slow deal. They typically start making huge moves with that warm up because they want to be comfortable and that they want to get up in that warm water. So Freedom Express says, Ray, the flats up in front of McGregor, real good this time of year for dragging. There you go. Lee, giving up the intel right there. Ray says, thanks, brother. He's going to check it out. Jackson knows more about trophy fishing than he ever will. I don't know about that, but, he is absorbing it. I expected at a certain point it should click. I will say this. He could probably, if I just let him pick and choose, he could probably outfish most guys. I mean, he's just, a little kid, so hooking up planer boards, he still has a hard time clipping the boards on and stuff like that. But he'll get all that. He's just now turning into a big kid. So Chris, you're fixing to get much rain around the Dallas area. It will run the Trinity River in a week. I'll be at the inlet for a few weeks watching transition, not only water temps and water clarity. I'm going to be up at Texoma trying to catch me a hundo. Trying to get in the 100-pound club. It won't be me. It'll be Jackson. So, see if we can get Jackson a hundo. Lee said he was an 18-inch hybrid the other day that had been crushed in the middle by a big catfish, and he was messed up. I hear those hybrids are good bait. I don't know. So you're saying catfish like hybrids? Pouring south of there right now, says Tommy Anderson. Well, it's supposed to rain for 7 days. I think there's one break in it. It's 50% every day except for 2 days. It's like 80 or 90. We ought to get some rain out of it. I might have to take a day off and head up to Texoma and just go drag the inlet, see if I can catch me a giant.
How's your lake levels, Chris, right now? Y'all got plenty of water still, or
Everything's at 100%, pretty much.
nice? I know that's like around here. All the rivers is perfect right now. Everything's good.
Some lakes are a foot low, but most of them are pretty close to full pool. Full pool. Freedom Express says good tacos. Well, anybody got any questions about spring transition? Jamie, what are you looking for in the river now that it's starting to warm up? What changes for y'all?
I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm looking for some, like I said, some of the spots around some of these little inlets. Man, it's bringing in some of the fresh stuff. It got some good water that's mixing with the brown water, with the brackish water. I'm just trying to figure it out right now because I've been off of it for a while, and everything. I'm gonna be honest with you. As far as the rivers, just figuring out the pattern pretty quick was how tight they're holding to the banks and stuff like that. How tight they're holding to the timber. Um, you know, actually, that information, I can normally figure out within the first hour.
Yeah. So how
First,
are you finding this? How are you figuring them out?
actually, Chris, just pretty much, I look at my depth finder. I'm looking for my bait. That's number one. I'm looking at what's my bait doing. Where's my bait towards the timber? Is the bait off the timber? And actually, right now, everything's pretty tight to the timber. So I'm like you. Once I
Up
find,
image, down image. What are you
I,
scanning with?
I'm down image. So side scanning right now for me, it is not where I'm at right now, but I'm pretty much down imaging right now in the rivers.
So you
And
just can't run the middle. How wide's the river?
the river, depending on where I'm at, I'm probably saying some of it's around 100 yards, some of it's 75 yards. So
So
it's not my
how deep is
sides.
it? How deep?
Some of it, Chris, right now I'm averaging around 20 to 25 foot, all the way, up. So there's not a lot of deep areas in some of the areas I'm been fishing. Um, that's why my downscan.
Side image like on 50 feet on each side. Get on one side of the river and just
You,
really hone in on them. You can't
I
do that.
mean, you can, but right now I'm just using my down image because I'm checking my timbers on the edge, right
Yeah.
on top of the. I'm just running over top of my timber, so I'm not really
Got
side
like
scan.
some timber piles that you
That's
ain't
it.
trying to scan
That's
the
it.
timber pile.
Yep. Yep. That's what I'm doing right now. And far as like I said, the side scan, depending on if I go to a different river now, I'm using some of my side scan because this it's 200 feet, 200 yards wide in
I'll be
some of these.
honest, I barely even turned down image on.
Really? Wow. And see, I love it. I love it. When I'm searching those timber areas, I love it.
I think for me, side image, I can see how they're orienting to the structure,
Hmm.
which directions they're facing, how far off of it they are. Are they running parallel? Are they on it? What are they doing?
Yeah.
And then I can try to figure out how I'm going to target them that way.
Now, see, when I go to Santee Cooper, I'm side scanning. I'm on my side scan all the time. But on the river, I'm gonna tell you, majority of the time, I'm down.
All right.
So just just little different things I found that works real good with my down scan on the rivers on certain areas. And like I said, now when I go to Santee Cooper, I never on down. I'm always on side.
Yeah.
So it's just certain things that I've picked up on that works real well for me on the rivers.
I see a lot of guys in the lake using down image, and it does show a fish pretty good,
Oh yeah,
but it just doesn't show you what the damn fish is doing.
yeah, yeah.
I
It
mean, you can't really tell what he's doing. I mean, yeah, there's a fish there. You can't really tell where he is. Like, all right, there's a fish down there somewhere. What is that? I mean, That doesn't really it helps me, I guess, know that there's a fish there, but it doesn't tell me where the fish is under there, what's he doing, how's he laying.
Now,
Uh,
when Chris, do you ever turn on your split screens where you're looking at, you know, you could have four different images and stuff like that? Do you ever turn that?
split screen. I want my favorite screen is got a map. It's about 25% of the screen.
Yeah,
Then I've got a split screen of side image and 2D. I use my side image to locate fish and determine how they're orienting to cover or structure. I use my 2D to back up to make sure I know basically what bait's there, what species of fish I'm looking at, so I'm not, you know, uh, misidentifying fish. But I mean, usually on side image, I can tell what they are. I mean, you can tell what
yeah,
they are.
yeah. And your setting, a lot of people might put it on Mega or what's your setting?
Mega if I'm use Mega if I'm scanning structure and cover. Mega doesn't pick up fish very good. It's too high a frequency. It picks up structure and cover great.
Yep.
You will see the bottom really good. You will see cover like stumps and trees and rocks really good. It does not pick up soft-bodied catfish very good. You will pick up scaled fish pretty good, but soft-bodied catfish, high frequency, does not bounce back a lot of the times. It's like they're in stealth mode. High frequency doesn't penetrate deep enough on a thick, meaty catfish to give you a good return. At 455, it's much
Yeah,
it's a much harder return when that thing it's penetrating that catfish and bouncing back. You get a better return. It's not as clear, so you don't see all the structure and bottom features as well when you use 455. But the fish pop, just not a clear fit. I mean, you're like you see a fish, whereas for like chirp, high frequency, a lot of times you won't even see the fish.
yeah.
They're
Yeah.
camoed. You won't get a return.
I know.
455 most of the time, unless I'm looking at structure, like really trying to figure out a piece of structure and cover trees. I want to make sure, is this area? I know I'm in a stump field. How bad is it? I'll switch to chirp, the high frequency, and then you can see every little branch on the tree. But to see the fish, 455.
Yeah.
You'll see fish way better with 455. It's just going to be a little bit not as clear of a return on things. It's a little bit just not as crisp.
Let's see here.
Tanner Hancock says, I got a 15-inch hummingbird on its way. Got to hone in my side scan skills. Your video this week was very helpful. We're going to try to do a show on graph picks. So if you guys want to start sending me your graph pick videos, pictures, send them to me on Messenger, Facebook Messenger, and we're going to put a show together. Had a lot of guys, I was just joking around on a post saying, man, I'm just surprised that, because a lot of guys are posting these graph picks saying, man, would you fish? Like it's hammer time or something. And I don't even see a catfish on the picture. I'm like, no, I wouldn't fish it. And then I'm the bad guy. I'm like, so I just was like, I'm not going to comment on that stuff anymore, but I'm going to make a comment on mine. I mean, we're going to try to help our people. I don't really feel like helping them anyway. They don't need any help. They already know everything.
Well, Chris, that'd be pretty cool, man. Have a few of them out there sending you some of their graphs, what they're thinking, and try to, where we could break it down on the show and show them, maybe what you could adjust. And
Man, I get it. The graphing is something that takes a long time to really have full confidence in what you're looking at. To understand one thing, you got to catch it. Even if I telling you guys, it'll help like, flatten the hills and straighten the curves. But then you got to go do it yourself to really know. And
Yeah.
the only way to do that, I tell guys, what really honed me in is, one is dragging and catching the fish I'm seeing. Two is dropping my net on what I'm looking at. So I've dropped my net enough. I've been side imaging since 2001, I think. I've got my first graph was Humminbird 1199, and I the entire time I had that graph, I thought I was fishing catfish. I was fishing carp, like a lot of guys.
Yeah.
Man, I'm in the honey hole. Ain't a damn catfish in there. Might be one or two, but it's mostly carp.
I saw a post the other day, Chris.
Like that, typically not going to be catfish.
I saw a post the other day where
catfish nature.
That's it. I saw one the other day where they were putting a net on top of a bunch of small catfish and thought they were, something different.
I mean, everybody's done that, and you can't tell what you're throwing on.
That's it.
Super thick, but if you start looking on the edges, you can start to see that downward arch. Catfish.
Jeff Martin was asking, how shallow do you trust what your side scan is telling you?
I'm real confident to 45 feet. What I'm looking at, 45 feet.
Now, anything after that gets
times when you're like really up on the mud flats, you'll think something's wrong with this freaking graph. Like, I'm not reading the bottom. Well, it's mud. You're not getting a return. The sonar's penetrating down into the mud. Nothing's bouncing back. It just keeps going. The mud. A lot of our lakes are silted in 2 feet, 2 feet thick of silt. That sonar just penetrates and never comes back. So you need something hard for it to bounce off of. When you're in a rocky area, you get a real crisp, clean return. If you're in sand, real crisp, clean return. You see rocks and pilings and trees and all that kind of stuff. But a mud bottom, if you're on a mud bottom and you're trying to scan a soft-bodied fish that's laying in the mud, a lot of times you can't see them on side.
Yep.
You have to switch to 2D, and you just start looking. A mud flat doesn't have humps. So if you're on a mud flat and they're laying in the mud that day, you have to switch to 2D. You won't see them on side image because.
So how shallow? So
up off the bottom to mark blue cats.
So you'll use your side scan up to how shallow, Chris, and trust it.
Up to how shallow?
Yeah.
Shallow as that sumbitch will read. I don't read to about 1.5 feet. You can see out to 60, 70 feet on each side of the boat in 1.5 feet of water. Guys, if it's marking, trust it. Those are, I trust my graph. I mean, I put a lot of faith in I'm a graph fisherman. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I fished for many years with no graph. And I talked to Tim Scott on the phone a couple of days ago. We talked about because somebody's mad at him for using a graph. I said, man, I used to get that a lot when I did live stream fishing every trip. Guys would tell me I'm cheating for using a graph. I'm like, they're like, you couldn't catch fish if you didn't use a graph. I'm like, man, I'm an old school fisherman. We fished without a graph for a long, with real rudimentary graph. We didn't have GPS and all that. You just went where you thought there was fish. You might see some bait on. That's where the terminology find the bait, find the fish come from. It's from an old school graph because you don't mark a whole lot of big fish with 2D.
And you remember what? You remember the saying back when the old school graphs, Chris, everybody, man, these things are lying to you and stuff like that.
That's because you can see fish and not catch them.
Yeah. So the technology has come so far, man, from those days. It's just crazy.
Guys, what the graph does is doesn't find the fish for you. You got to go find the fish. I know plenty of guys with high-end grass costs way more than mine. They can't fish worth a lick, dude. I can turn my graph off and outfish them. But what the graph does is instead of that old school way we used to fish, we put the fish, go to a spot, put the fish on the clock for 30 minutes. If you don't get a bite in 30 minutes, you move. What the graph does is eliminates that. Now I go to the spot. If it has fish, I can determine, does it have the right fish? Is it even worth throwing down? If not, you move to the next spot. Might take 3 spots, and then you throw down. What that doing is saving you an hour and a half of fishing dead water or fishing water that's not optimal. And I love my graphs.
And I've heard some people say, man, they do better without it being on and stuff.
Well, that's because they don't have confidence in it. If you don't have confidence in it, it can mess up your fishing. If you don't know what you're really looking at, and I get that. Sometimes it's just like, turn this damn thing off and fish. But I use mine. I trust mine. Like I said, it took a long time to get it dialed in. And, when I ran that old Hummingbird, I fished carp a lot. I thought I was fishing catfish. But when I got my Helix, it was about 10 years ago, when that Helix come out, I realized real quick, I've been fishing carp this whole time. I've been fishing carp for 15 years. What I thought were catfish, but that Helix would show the shadow, and it's real clear. That's the other thing. When you're marking them, if you're marking fish, there's typically 2 palettes most of us use. You use blue and you use amber. And what the blue will pop the image of the fish. So the return of the fish is going to pop more on blue. You can see the fish marked better on blue. Okay, so just locating fish that blue, they stand out more. What the amber does is, now everybody's eye is a little bit different, but what the amber does, you can see structure and cover much better with amber. But the shadow of the fish, you can see much better with amber. You don't see the return near as good. So if you're really just looking for fish, put it on blue. If you're really trying to determine what the species is, switch it over to that amber, and the shadow is going to tell you. If it's a big shadow with a, shape like that, it's probably not a catfish. If it's long and cylindrical with a wider head or a hump back at the beginning, it's a catfish. So, I do switch back. But hell, I'm getting where I don't even need to do that. I can see them on that blue one, and I know what I'm looking at. But for you guys that aren't sure, switch it back and forth to that blue and that amber, and you'll see blue makes the fish pop. Amber shows you the shadow better. So if you're not sure what if you're looking for fish and then you find them and you're not sure, is this a catfish or is this a carp? Because a lot of guys are misinterpreting their graph. They think carp or catfish. You can see that carp almost perfectly outlined on the amber screen. You just don't see the return very good. So you may try that. That you'll see good bait and fish mark and pop better on blue. I hear thunder.
Oh, man.
Only thing that sucks about all this rain is it's tough to get bait.
Yep.
Timothy Blackburn says the blue works best for him. Yeah, the blue, you can see the fish real clearly. You're like, the fish are here. It's just you can't hardly see. You can't see shadows real good. Not like amber,
And I know people, Chris, they'll leave it on amber and never change it. I mean, never change it
You can
because
do that, but I'm just saying a lot of guys are
it,
misinterpreting their graph. And
it
if you're
yeah.
one of those guys, and I will say this, several of the guys I tried to help, they don't want to fucking hear it. One of the guys, he made 5 different posts this week about he's caught these little catfish, and he's he's saying, "Oh, I'm out here fishing these carp again." I'm like, dude, I can catch those 5 little catfish anywhere in this lake. They are not hard to catch. They're around. They're in every little group. What I'm telling you is this group of fish that you're calling a mother lode is all carp. And when I say all carp, if there's 200 fish on the screen, yeah, there's probably 6 or 8 little catfish in there. But, uh, but some guys have a closed mind for learning because they already know everything. And if I will say this, the guys that I know that are really good at catfishing have an open mind for learning, and it's never closed. They're always willing to learn something new. And I'm one of those guys.
That's me.
I've got a ton of friends that are really top level anglers. I am always willing to listen to what they have to say. If they're telling me, I don't know about that, I'm going to listen because what can it hurt? I mean, and I just feel like some of those guys, they didn't want to hear. I will say this: the ego of an angler is like a delicate butterfly, man. It's easily bruised.
There's some of them out there, man. That's way. Oh man.
Like, man, I'm just trying to help. I'm your buddy. Can I not? Am I not? I mean, I'm just telling you, those aren't catfish, buddy.
And then the ones out there that just questions everything you do, man.
What are you gonna do?
Can't win them all. Can't win them all.
Oh man. Joseph Brewer says, if you stop learning, it's time to get out. I would agree. I'll tell you what, after doing it for 5 years, you got just enough knowledge to think you really know something. Right, Jamie? After doing it for about 5 years, you got just enough knowledge where you've had some success, where you're like, I'm actually pretty good at this. After you do it for 10 years, you realize, damn,
I
didn't know shit.
That's it. That's it.
And I'm still an open book for learning. Hell, I've been doing it for 30. I would say the last 2 years, I've learned as much in the last 2 as I've ever learned.
Well, you look at how things is changing so fast, though, Chris. It's not sitting still, man. Even the graphs. The graphs every year, these companies are just getting so smart with it, and it's getting so technical. That's the thing.
How can you roll this new technology into your game and use it to your advantage?
Yep.
Some guys, they want to fight against that technology coming in. I'm sorry, but you better embrace it because otherwise you're going to get left behind, man. I mean, you don't have to have any of it, but I will say this. I fish completely different than I did 5 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is night and day. And I don't fish anything like I did 10 years ago.
And I'm going to be honest with you.
I was pretty decent then. But my 50-year-old self would just open up a can of whoop ass on my 40-year-old self. It ain't even close.
Yeah.
It wouldn't even be. My 40-year-old self wouldn't even put up a competition against me. So you can always get better, no matter what level. I don't care who you are. You can always get better.
Things is
You gotta
not
have an open mind for learning and not be closed-minded when someone's maybe has a little insight to give you. You know.
Things aren't sitting still, man. Now you got a lot of these tournaments that's just like, just not allowing you to use graphs. You got, it's really just getting that involved with the technology. It's pretty wild.
Jeff Martin says, floats or no floats anchored in 2 to 3 foot of water. If you're in 2 to 3 foot, you don't really need floats. Jeff, I still have my floats on, but I'll pull that thing closer down towards my swivel. But you can run in 2 or 3 foot of water. You can run a Carolina rig. Doesn't really matter.
I saw a question a while ago about which should the rigs. It's the Carolina Lake Shakers is the rigs that we've got going out.
Joseph Brewer says, I know just enough to be dangerous. Well, all you can do is just go fish, guys. Try to get better. I mean, that's what we're all trying to do. I'm trying to get better. I don't compete. So my competition is what I did the year before. Am I better angler than I was last year? Hell yeah, I am. I'm better than I was. I'm damn sure better than I was 2 years ago. And I would kick my 45-year-old's ass. It changes every 5 years. You get better. You really hone in on. If you're not stuck in your ways, there's some guys. Hell, I know some guys that've been fishing the same way for 20 years. 20 years ago, they kicked my ass. I freaking destroy them now. You still fish like we did 20 years ago. Like, they don't want to embrace change.
Yeah.
A lot of guys, there's, what do you need to change? I'm already catching fish. Well, there's other ways to catch fish, and knowing multiple techniques could never hurt. Maybe on a certain day, certain thing works better than something else. So,
and some people just say, "Man, I'm happy catching some tens," but me, I want to catch. I want to catch as big as ones I can.
I'm hardcore, dude. I can't. If I'm having a bad day, I feel like I have to freaking learn something. If it's gonna be a bad day, I better get out there and do something to have a little bit of success where I can say, all right, I learned a little something today.
Yeah.
So, I can go home feeling better about today than if I just go out there, take an ass whipping, and just, well, the fishing was bad and I suck.
Well, Chris, it's just like you learn that little something, and then the next time you go back out, you're like, okay, I'm gonna start with that little something I've learned, and then you're just gonna learn even more.
I think if you can, from the guys that I learned from, the very best ones, it's those very little things that if you can take those little things, process them, and then apply them in the future, process them, and then tuck them away into your data bank. And then being able to pull that out of the data bank and then apply it on the day you need it. And so the more of those little small scenarios that you can accumulate on this day, these few things work. It took me all day to figure out those two little things, but it worked. And now today, it's the same thing. Now I know what to do. I'm just going to go do it. And you're like, it freaking worked.
It's just a puzzle that never stops. It just keeps putting pieces and pieces together, man. That's what it is, and that's why we love it, man. That's why we love fishing.
Gary Kirby says, that's my mindset too, just like yours. Do a little better from year to year.
That's it. Well, honestly, it's not from year to year no more, Harley, man. It's almost from trip to trip the way things is getting. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
Gadget Green says, I went from ugly sticks to mad cats. LOL. So did I. Ran ugly sticks for 20 years. There was no other options. You could use ugly sticks, or there was a couple. Berkeley had a catfish rod. I mean, there weren't any. There was not very many options 25 years ago. Now there's options. CLW, what's your gar rigs called so I can find them on the page? The Gators will start rolling around here soon.
You can go on there. They're just under gar rigs. We've got the red dice ones, the skull rigs.
Yeah,
So
I need to get back up with you on that.
I can honestly tell you, we just this week alone we had a little over. So far this week, we've had 15 to go out, and right now I have got probably close to 200 rigs I need to build just for one order. I said while we are on the show, I had 115 2.0 Carolina Lake Shaker rigs that's
Oh,
going out. So the 2.0s for a lot of the ones that didn't know is coming now with the new sleeve in between the hook and the float to help protect that lower part from getting frayed up and everything.
yeah, yeah. I like that. I like that little sleeve option.
And, and that's what I used in the tournament, the last couple of tournaments I fished, man, and it has really helped me a lot. It really has.
Killer B says I've learned one thing on here, and that has helped me. It's bait presentation, game changer.
Yeah.
I'd say bait presentation is probably the most overlooked thing, going from um, a middle of the road kind of mediocre guy who just goes out and maybe does well certain times, but then still struggles a lot. But when you get bait presentation figured out, your fish size goes up, your catch rates go out the freaking roof. I mean, it's dramatic. What going from just chopping your stuff up and saying, "Oh, they're here," but presenting something like it's injured or dying, that's the freaking key to really upping your game. Chunking it up will work occasionally. I mean, here and there, you'll have just as good a trips chunking it up, but presenting your bait and I'm not talking about little fish. For big fish, they typically want something that looks injured or dying. Trent Hall says, "Sorry guys, been in and out tonight. Missed most of the show." Man, it's starting to come down out here. I can hear it. Ordered some more 2-ounce dragon thinkers, Jamie.
Yeah, this I can tell you, man. Just this week,
Dropping them over the side of the yak.
I tell you, just this week alone, man, it has myself and Rebecca, we've been coming out here at night as soon as we're getting home and working until 1 o'clock in the morning because getting our orders out, man, things have really started popping. It really has. And right back there you see the lead table. We're pouring all the BBs as fast as we can, guys.
Jerry Kirby says, "My goal is to catch at least an 80-pounder every year since 2000 and has since 2016. Hell yeah, buddy. Hell yeah. We didn't get an 80 last year. But I took an ass whooping up at Texoma a couple times and changed lakes. We caught fish, but it's not very many. And I was like, oh, that was painful. I switched lakes just so I could catch big fish. But we got to go to Texoma if we want supersized fish. That's where we catch all of our 80s.
I saw a question earlier, guys, and I missed it, and I apologize. We got talking. The flatheads in your area. I know you're around this probably Santee areas where you're talking about. You can catch them now, but give it another month. Let that water come on up, and I can tell you they're going to really turn on down there on that river where you're talking about. So give it about another month, and you'll be in prime time for it.
Even with the water temps where y'all are at right now?
Well, yeah. Right now, Chris, give it about another month, and I can start catching some nice flatheads. I can catch them now because I caught a couple the other day, but they were at no size to them. But you can catch them. But about another month or so, they'll be right. because right now, like today, we getting some warm weather in here. Our weather's going to really start warming up. It seems like.
Yeah, I think we're gonna spawn early, and then I'll be catching gator gar. So
Yeah, I think it's going to happen pretty quick this year. I really do, Chris.
yeah, we're ahead of schedule for sure. We've had a strange winter here. We only had about a week and a half of winter. It's crazy.
Yeah, we had that one. We had some snow and stuff like that earlier, and then it just kind of seems like it's been gradually warming up, warming up.
Extra warm water temps. Fish were real moved all winter. Real never grouped up real thick. It's just different. Jerry
How did
Cody says 3/100. Randall Smythe says, how do you cut or hook bait to best look like you want it? Well, I like to use the whole bait. I fillet mine down one side. I pretty much stinger rig. If I'm dragging, I'm stinger rigging my big baits. So I'll put a I use 6/0 stingers, giant freaking treble hooks. I mean massive. They're like that, dude.
you got me beat on that one. Those right
Oh,
there.
dude, that's a baby. That's a
I
gar.
know, right?
That's for gar. That won't cut it for catfish. But I put that stick. I put 2 prongs in the tail and have 1 prong sticking out. I use a 10/0 in the nose usually, 10 or 12/0. I've been using the 10/0, the German alloy hooks. Those been working really good this year. Uh, I like to use about a 10-inch bait, filleted down one side. Cut the tail off. Just I don't want a fish grabbing that tail because they will just bite the back half of your bait a lot just to try to kill it. And then I trim off all the fins so I don't helicopter my hooks into the fins. Just the whole bait, about the 10-incher. Is what I prefer.
I had one. I was going to show it. I don't know where I done with it. It's probably on a rod somewhere.
It's going to be 80 in NC, says Michael Cox.
Yep.
Sam Lopez says, hey, buddy, I make and sell catfish bait. Anybody catching eaters? Sam sells some stinky catfish bait. Trent Hall says, we talked about flatheads the other day, Chris. Probably time. I saw several Sunday moving around. Well, William Oliver caught a 62 and spanked everybody's ass up at Ray Bob, made them all mad. What's funny is I talked to him. I was like, man, I love seeing you go up there and just spank those guys on that tournament. I said, because a lot of them were mad at me because they said there's no big fish up there. There's just not very many big fish in this lake. I said, man, there's a lot of fish in that. There's a lot of big fish in that lake. And I went up there and fished it. We got we caught a 54 and 240s, and I'd never fished the lake. And we were within 2 pounds of the lake record. And I told the guy, I told you there's big fish. You just got to target them. They're targeting teeners and 20s, and they just don't run together typically. You can get lucky and catch one with them, but you got to target them specifically. And I said, I told you there's big fish. So my buddy William Oliver went up there and fished that tournament. He just destroyed them, dude. He got a 62-pound flathead and a 52-pound blue cat. Some other big. He called a bunch of big fish, and they're like, no, they're everybody else catching like teeners and 20s, and they're like, where were those? He's like, man, I went up in this cove and man, I marked like 25 over 50, and I marked one that was 80.
Wow.
Because he's he's live scoping.
Yeah.
I mean, and they're like, oh my God. So there's boils down to you got to know what you're doing to catch these fish. Or just be lucky. You go with luck, but there's a skill set required to catching big fish consistently. I got to tell you, there's no doubt about that. And William's one of the best anglers in the world. I mean, I really believe that. I believe William, with his specific set of skills with that live scope, he is one of the best catfish anglers in the entire world. A lot of guys never even heard of him, too. So. Jeff said Ryan got a 30-pound flathead Saturday on his rod. Tub and Tackle is watching.
What's up, buddy?
Welcome in, buddy boy. Ryan's laughing at you, Jeff. Oh, man. How you hook the bait is super important as well. Think about how it's going to drift through the water. I have a pool so I can see it. Don't tell my wife. I would agree. The beauty of dragging is you're presenting your bait like a dying bait fish or dying fish. I don't know about bait fish, but a dying fish. I'm using baits bigger than bait fish.
I can tell you, Chris, even live American eel, man, I'm playing around with how I'm hooking that. It makes a lot of difference on what I'm. So
Yeah,
I see a lot. I see a lot of people chunk.
How many chunks do you see floating around in a lake? Not a whole lot of chunks of fish. Typically, blue cats are predatorial. They're eating a live fish. They prefer an injured fish. If you stick, you can have uninjured fish swimming all around. Blue cat will just lay there. You put one that looks injured in the area, and he's going to come to life and be like, I'm about to go get that sucker, because there's just something innate in them that wants to attack something that's injured. So that's why I do it the way I do it. So, Jerry, we've had JBN a couple of times. I was talking to JBN today. He was sending me a bunch of graph pics where he was fishing, trying to help him decipher what he was looking at. He's my Elite 13 teammate, good friend of mine. Awesome angler. Jeff's calling Ryan a bastard for catching his fish. Ray Bob's better than Louisville in his opinion. I'd agree. I had no problem catching big fish out of Ray Bob. I said, man, if I fished this lake for a month, I'd own this lake record, and I am not bullshitting. I would beat that lake record if you gave me 1 month to fish it. I felt like it was that good of a lake. I would have that thing smashed within a month. Hey Jeff, I didn't count that fish. I felt bad. You were messing with a 2-pounder. Oh man. It's hailing in Granbury, says Killer B. Well, where's everybody fishing this weekend? Jamie Dunn, you fishing? Are you working?
I'm actually, Chris, we're actually going to probably be working in the shop this week trying to play catch up, man.
Oh man.
We pour 100% of our lead back here for the weights and stuff. And I tell you, with all the orders and all the rigs and stuff, man, it's a blessing. We're gonna be probably working this weekend.
All right, got to get her done.
But one good thing about, man, is that we've talked about. I was able to get the lithium batteries, man, hooked up on the boat. We got all new lithium batteries on there. Put a new ladder on the front of the trailer, so we got some new stuff. Trying to get tournament ready. We got another tournament, I believe, in April. So we got a lot of things happening. We got a lot of cool things happening. So
Juan says heavy rain in Gainesville. Jerry Kirby says Lake Gaston. Yeah, that's a good lake. It's one of those like deep water canyon lakes, kind of like Texoma, not quite as big. I JBN was sending me all those graph pics. I said, man, I can tell that lake's tough. He was sending me all these graph pics of carp with gar around them, and then we were deciphering which ones were catfish. And I said, man, this is the exact pattern I've been fishing the last month here. So I say, it's go time. You're in the right area, buddy. Gonna be working around the house to get his weight station set up, says Michael Cox. JT Tuberville says, I'll be at the inlet if we can get enough rain there and may camp on the red, target some flatties. Well, Jared, it's supposed to rain for a damn week. Sunday, there's no rain. Pressure's a little high, no wind. Wouldn't you know, only day it does rain. Terrible conditions, but big fish should be up there. Just setting 500 jugs on Texoma near the river outlet. I'm going to drag right through them. I'll have half of them cut. Kerr is a great lake too. Yeah, I think Kerr's layout is very similar to Lake Texoma. It's a little smaller, but it's got more like tons of little smaller creeks feeding it. So there's more shoreline, but not as much surface area as Texoma. I think they're very similar. Obviously, Kerr's got bigger fish, but Texoma's got some big ones too. That's where I go for when I want to catch really big fish. Richard says, I'm just trying not to do stupid shit. I don't hurt so bad. So he can fish. All right. Well, Jamie Dunn, you got anything you want to promote?
Man, I tell you, man, I just want to say appreciate everybody, man. CLW, we love you guys for always supporting us. And if y'all need anything, guys, just shoot us a message. We'll try to answer any questions we can on any of our rigs, weights, or whatever it is, or you just want to talk. Shoot us a message, and we appreciate, like I said, all the support. I know right now we are pretty much balls to the wall, as we say, and we can't do it without you.
Jerry says it does have a lot of coves. Yeah, it's got a lot of smaller creek inlets is what I noticed. That I was supposed to come up there and fish on the Mad Cat's boat for Ice Bowl before it got iced out, but I didn't make it for the second round. So maybe this summer I'll make a road trip. Well, a plane trip, not a road trip.
Ryan, appreciate that, buddy. We love hearing it. We love hearing it.
Tanner Hancock says, "Mine doing a pressure 101." What do you want to know? Pressure sucks when they're shallow. Messes them up, dude. Shallow fish don't like high pressure. Jeff says, I'm doing stainless wire so Chris can cut them. I got wire cutters. My bait shears will cut right through steel braid. If I get tangled in another damn jug on Texoma, I'm going to lose my mind. Yeah, Bill about lost his life into one.
Wow.
Trent says, good luck, guys, on fishing. Till next week.
Appreciate you, brother.
Ryan's got Carolina lake weights on his, and I feel sorry for those around the lake, Corpus Christi in Texas. Lake is dried up. Pulling up your jugs and stealing the CLW weights. Me too. Ditched all his handmade dragging weights, Jamie. Sold on Carolina lake weights.
We appreciate you, buddy. We thank you so much, man.
They'll save you money. Billy was making those Larry Muse weights. Those damn things get hung. Damn things are expensive to make and time consuming too. I used to make them.
Yeah. Yeah. It always makes us feel good when we hear things like that, for sure.
Randall says we're taking the whole jug, cut it, and moving on. Joking with Jeff, he runs Carolina Lake weights on his jugs. And guys, none of these guys actually jug, so rest assured. Sounds like we're getting some hail.
Dude, I was about to say I can hear something back there that's hitting pretty hard, man.
Yeah, sounds like we're getting some hail. I hope my truck's all right.
I'm about to say, man, you.
Yeah. Oh shit. All right. Well, want to say thanks to SmackDown Rod Holders. Got a bunch of those sold to my buddies this week. Appreciate everything they do for us. Jamie, appreciate everything. I know y'all been busy. So.
Yeah, man. And Chris, I want to send a big shout out to a lot of guys out there, man, that's been reaching out and stuff, and like I said, that's loving our stuff, and we just want I just want to say thank you. We love hearing all the kind words, and I also want to send a big shout out to Kevin Walters that helped me hooked up with those lithium batteries, man. That's awesome. So guys, if y'all need some lithium batteries, go see Kevin Walters, and he'll get you hooked up with those, and they'll set you up for sure.
I gotta say, I got a new hog pen.
Nice.
Step away from RS nets. I love their nets, but they don't show me much love. They give me a free net. Not going to complain about that, but Mad Cats supports me way, like, really hardcore. So I just figured time to get a new net. Why not Mad Cats? It's a great net. Super lightweight. It's fiberglass handled. Huge scoop.
I'm gonna have to get one of them on my boat here one day.
I like it. It's gonna be good. I want to say thank you to Kevin Parks planer boards, man. We've been killing them with these freaking Parks boards. I want to say thanks to Jimmy Floyd for always supplying us with these knives. We'll give away another knife soon. Catfish Clothing.
Yes, sir. Appreciate them guys over there for sure.
Who else? Is that it?
Well, Chris, the tape nets, man.
Oh, yeah. We'll give him a shout out. Mega Spreader tape nets. Y'all need cast nets. One of my buddies here in local guy he's got a cast net company. They're high quality nets too. There's super strong braille lines. I think 125-pound braille lines instead of 100-pound braille lines.
I'm gonna tell you, man.
Tape nets from I think 6 foot up to 10 foot.
Yeah, they work very good. I'm gonna tell you, I love mine. Appreciate them over there. They definitely hooked us up, and guys, if y'all need one, definitely go see them. You will be happy with it.
The mesh sizes. I don't know what they got in stock right now, but he's going to start getting them where they keep them.
Yeah.
Every size in stock. I'm going to switch to 1 inch this year. 1 inch mesh. I'm going to go with my next net's going to be 1 inch mesh, 1.5 pounds per foot. 7 foot. It's got a 50-foot hand line, 125-pound braille.
We'll have to do a video on it one day, guys, to show you.
Chris Horde, welcome in, buddy. I got a rod tube from my buddy today, Chris. I'll get your rod out in the next couple of days, buddy. Not your rod, your kiddo's rod. Chris won Chris's daughter won a Mad Cat's rod on my Youth Angler Rod giveaway on my Facebook page. I got one more to give away soon. I got a 3.0 signature I'm going to give away. This one's a medium action.
You know, Chris, we're very blessed. We're very blessed that everybody that supports us here at the Slime Show, man. We got some great partners, and we got a lot more great stuff that's going to be happening for sure.
Yeah, we got a good show coming up. Not next week. Next week will be a good show, but week after that, we're going to have William Oliver and Epic Catfish on together.
Wow.
Oh, man.
That's going to be an all-star show for sure.
So Epic is probably one of the best big fish anglers there's ever been. And William Oliver's the best flathead angler I've ever heard of or seen. So it'll be cool. Epic's got all the knowledge from studying them, and William's got all the knowledge from looking at them on a live scope. So it'll be cool to see them intertwine and interact talking flatheads, because my boy William, you don't want to go against him in a tournament.
I'm definitely looking forward to that one.
We've had Epic on 2 or 3 times now, and then we've had William on before too, and both of them are really world class anglers. So that'll be a good show. But anyway, guys, appreciate everybody stopping in, spending some time with us. Get those fishing plans ironed out. It's go time for spring monster hunting. We won't have long. I think we're going to have an early spawn, but hopefully y'all picked up some tips might help you catch some more fish, catch some bigger fish, or maybe help you not get skunked. Even better.
And guys, come on over and see us over at CLW, man.
Yeah, get your everything CLW's got. Y'all got, we got weights, hooks, rigs,
all kinds of
swag.
We get rattles, floats. Yes. So we got it all.
Stuff coming.
Yep, we are working on a lot more stuff for sure. So stick around, guys. A lot of cool things coming.
Tight lines. God bless. Azul out.
Later, y'all.